Okay, we're back with the real meat and potatoes. So, what people want to know is a real simple strategy. They may not know this yet, but I'm telling you, you definitely want to know this. It may not work exactly the same as it does for me because I've been sun gazing and I've been burning, apparently shocking myself for maybe a couple of years now. And I think maybe it's burning off some of it. But what I'll say is that back then it took me almost a couple of weeks to sweat all the salt out of my body. Now it takes maybe about 4 hours, 4.5 something hours, and then eventually it sweats out. And let me just go ahead and talk about what's happened. All right, so when all of this shit sweats out, it's sweating out of the bloodstream, the water solubility of the body and everything. Just let it drip down until it's dripping like that. Stay outside in the heat. They want you to go inside in the AC and beat the heat. That's not what you want. They want you to drink Gatorade. If you do that, you're putting more salt in the body, and it's not electrolytes. Oh my gosh, that shit is nonsense. You want to sweat like this. Sweat so much that you're sweating beyond the oldies. Nah. You want to sweat bullets. You want to sweat so bad that when somebody sees you, they're just like, damn, like, what the fuck, bro? Do you need a towel? Like, you just got out the shower or what? Like, you want to be wet, covered in sweat. That's how I've been doing it every day. And it leaves faster and faster each time. And I found out what that white stuff is that secretes out of your teeth. It's just glue. Glue and calcification. Comes out if you fast more than 3 weeks, but eventually your body becomes optimized enough and clean enough and detoxifying enough to where that stuff will just ooze out. I put the turpentine in my mouth like a mouthwash for like 20 minutes, spit it out, and then wipe the teeth clean, and all that shit just comes right out of the gums. So that tells me that this calcification is psychoactive. Just like those, it's a cloud video you probably seen recently. I talk about that. Just like last couple of videos, and everything that they have is pretty much the same thing. It's an organic material that's malleable. The reason why it's hard, let's talk about that, is because your pineal gland is like a kiln. All this shit outside of here is softer than the shit that's at the edge, right there. So we're going to talk about this edge here. When you get there, a lot of the doodles are extremely prevalent. Like, everything is there. It's just like you're almost there. Everything is kind of there, but not really exactly, because yeah, the magical elementations is another animal. So, all right, so you're sweating to the oldies, you're sweating your damn head off, your whole body sweating. You're going to find yourself washing your clothes. If you're like me, you'll wear like shorts like this, and you're outside, you just sweat and you wash it out in your water source. And today, for the past couple of days, I've been nude, completely nude. And I wrap those bands around me now, and it makes the chi center spiral in between the go-betweens. So it's really, it's a snowball of information that has been happening all at the last minute. Well, anyways, you're sweating and you're sweating and you're sweating. If you can manage to do this in a day, then I applaud you, because the first time I started doing this, it took me like 2 weeks to get rid of all the salt. And if you try to eat it again, your heart's going to race. It's like your body doesn't want it anymore. It's like, dude, what the hell did you do to me? Like, it gets mad. Like, it's like you get uncomfortable. You get anxiety attacks. It's weird. Like, if you eat salt after you get rid of it, your body's like, no, man, don't put it back. It's weird. It's like your body does not like salt. It just doesn't. All right. So you get to the fine layer. You're done sweating, and then you're not sweating anymore. Okay, I've done this for a long time. I don't pass out. I don't get a heat stroke. None of that. If you're in the sun gazing, you become one with it and you absorb it. And the weakness of the heat stroke, the weakness of sunburns, all that is all poison. Comes out. Your body's a sponge, and you've got light irritation chemicals that are psychoactive inside of you. that suggests that maybe you should get like a sunburn. I'm telling you, my skin is dark, but I used to paint murals on buildings and my hair would fry off like sunburns all on my everything. Because you got that white metal surface, it reflects the sun negatively back onto you. It just burns the fuck out of you. So I don't get sunburns anymore. Imagine that. So it's not because my skin is dark. It's because I don't have poison in myself anymore. I suggest you do the same. All right, you get down to this thin layer and all your salt is gone. You don't smell nothing. Mosquitoes don't bite you. I'm learning that it's not the heat signature, it's the savoriness. They probably detect you when you've got some kind of heat signature, but then they smell that salt and they gotta have it. They're like all up on you. Bro, I did not get bit during this process the whole time. There's biting flies, all kind of stuff out there on this farm. Nothing bit me. All right. Now, an hour or two later, I start sweating again. And then then I get bit by a biting fly and mosquitoes. I'm like, what the hell's going on? I realized that once you get all of this immediate stuff out, the final layer starts to come out. Then all the salt shows back up again. It's like super concentrated. This final layer is nothing but super concentrated, hard kiln, like a kiln. It's like right up on it. Your pineal gland is like a super hot oven, like a fire torch. This stuff up against it, normally brittle, found out in the earth somewhere, but it's up on that kiln. It's the hardest shit ever. It's like hard as shit. So you start sweating more, then your body says, time to discard the final shit, the final layer. Then it comes out, salt again. And it's like, dang, man, I thought I got rid of everything. All this stuff out your spine, salt, right out your back, dripping down, all new salt. Bugs are going to start biting you again. And then you're going to be like, what the hell is going on? I thought I was exempt from that. You get these final layers out. It's like right on the heat signature. This whole thing is like a hot oven, electrical Goku body. And unbelievable enough, this smolder sensation that feels like somebody took razors and sliced my face up, that's how it feels. It's so hot, it feels like razors. This shit hurts worse than the cracks. The cracks are so uncomfortable and so strange and such a new sensation, you jump back. When you get to this final layer and it finally sweats out, the thing starts breaking open. And this shit hurts worse. All this heat hurts worse than that breaking because it's so uncomfortable. It's just like, oh, hey. And you think you're in pain, but you have to stop and say, wait, did that really, really hurt as bad as I felt? Like maybe I presumed it. It's just a new sensation. Your body's reflexes immediately tell you to jump back. Something's happening inside the center of your head. This is not normal. Hey, you can't do that. Hey, get back. Whoa. Like that's the reaction that I had. It came creeping around my fault lines. Like right around there, around the side back, it feels like pow, like right outside of here. This thing is so sensitive, it just shoots out, pow. And then I had another one up here and I jumped back. So that's what I got to get used to is this final layer. This final layer, I've got this whole sweat process strategy figured out. Now I can get to the final layer easier. And then I'm going to start playing around with it just to try to see how many cracks I can handle before I lose my mind. Because if I can put turpentine in my eyes, turpentine and strategize a way to get it inside my ear without hurting myself, then I can do this. If I can do this, this shit feels like I should look like Freddy Krueger. But it doesn't. It's like, dude, the 8 wave is like so electrical that it overrides dying, if you will. It's like, what the hell? Being burned to death, that you need an S wave to kill somebody in an electric chair that's half an 8, so you just can't have the full circuit just so you fry? Like, what the hell? That's pretty fucking smart. Reptilians did not come up with that. All right, let me clarify that. People talking about wasp or a reptilian breed. They didn't breed shit. When I really think about it, reptilians don't make nothing, man. They're just foot soldiers following orders of Baal and Moloch now. All right, turpentine with tissue in the ear. I'm getting to the end. I used to put it in there, and I did that 3 times. I was able to handle that 3 times. The first time I did one ear, the second time I did the other ear. The third time I did both ears at the same time. It's just not, you want to put some tissue in there like this, like a little bullet, twist it around and put turpentine on the tip and stick that shit down in there. There's a big calcium block that is keeping you from hearing the spirit world the way it is. You got eyes to see and ears to hear. All right. You put that shit on that tip and stick it in there and just let it stay in there all day. Don't let this whole thing stay saturated. You'll get a rash in your ear because it'll stay wet too long. Put it down in the end, right there where this calcium shit is, where it itches, and sit it right in there and push it in there. Don't let it get on the canal because it'll rust. It'll get rash and you won't be able to attack this thing because his ear will be too sore outside of here. All right. Stick it down there on that calcium thing. And eventually, this is it's going to feel like this. This is the pencil ear. This is the ears to hear. It looks like this, but it feels like this. You look like that, but it feels like razors and needles in your face. That's how it feels. Like, damn, man, somebody's fucking burning my face up. Like you got road rash on your goddamn face. You rode a motorcycle and you hit the concrete face first. It's like, that shit hurts worse than that. That's just new. Like, I just got to get used to it. All right, so you put this in and it decalcifies, it creates the pencil layer. And what I can tell is it's just like a zit. This thing has got a big nasty mass that wants to shoot out like, like that. It's coming too. And every time I blow my nose like this, I squeeze my nose. And these things blow out. It's like a sucker fish. You know what I mean? It's like a sucker fish. Everything they told us about our ears is bullshit. Busting your eardrum with a pencil is not something that I believe that could happen. I believe that you are breaking a calcium layer that they don't want you to talk about. Because I'm sticking all kinds of shit in there. Like, because it itches so bad, I'm just sticking stuff in there. Just like, oh, like Beavis and Butthead pissing in a urinal. Like that. It's super intense. All right, so this suckfish thing. After a while, starts spitting out calcium into the ear. That itches too. It itches real bad. If you hear something opening this for the first time, it attacks you. Just like wearing sunglasses when your eyes first start opening. Any sound that is of this world says, holy shit, I wish I was in a telepathic world. Because that shit comes in and cuts in and it's like, tsh, you're not supposed to hear shit like this. Surprise. And it's like, what? Kind of reminds you of Superman coming to Earth for the first time, having issues with his superpowers, needing to focus them. It's exactly what it reminds me of. You're going to get used to it. I'm used to it now. So I'm telling you, this is a great video. You sweat your ass off and then you keep on going. You keep sun gazing. You keep on letting him bring that sweat out. You keep putting the turpentine in. Eventually, you're just going to start sweating this final layer out. So that's what my job will be tomorrow, is to sweat these final layers down to the layer again. And I'm not going to eat that much, so I'm not going to have much to sweat. But hey, stay tuned for some crazy shit, because if I go too far on these cracks, bro, it's just going to blow off, man. And I think it's going to hurt. And I might spin around to the point where I might throw up. Like a roller coaster, like you spin around and then things come out of your stomach that's not supposed to be there. In this nauseous spinning state, I feel very, very nauseous, like I need to vomit. So it might happen. I might spin around and I might puke out every poisonous entity of any kind. Who knows? But what I can tell is that there's a mass in there, like a pimple, and that thing wants to shoot out, and it's nasty too. So stay tuned for more Grimnasty TV, on where we go through the fog. Because when you get awake, you stay awake.